Welcome. This is Crime Queen, and if you're joining us for the first time, this is the channel where we get excited about love. This is where we ignite that which dwells from within us, that which comes alive, makes us smile. Hence, we say the crimson light is life. So, I am now exploring that which comes alive, and in terms of a quote from the scriptures where Christ says, it says, but I am a worm. It would seem one of the strangest texts or terms that Christ would have said, and we are talking about our Savior here. I am but a worm, no man. I have been despised by everyone, something to that effect. And I felt that I have addressed this text, but really it's a text that I would really like to explore simply because I have been making the reference to worm even before encountering that text. Now, that worm that I make reference to is really to do with the W, the letter W, which is M, which is 3, which is also E, can be looked at in those areas, and also the S, which is like a snake. But we see where it concerns me, it's under the 2 column of or template of sacrifice, which I'm going to show you. In case you're new to this, I know it looks very plentiful, but this is Mother Eve that we have been working with. And of course, let's just take this off here so it looks a little bit less congested. So we have the numerical values of each letter of the alphabet, and they are in columns, and when we add them together they all add up 369. 369, we have 3 sections of this 369 here. We also have this which I call the inland revenue here. So things have been rubbing up. We work with intuition. We call intuition forth into this transparency of our presentations. We call water. We speak those into being, just being present, and revelation, and Christ, of course, which we have the sacrifice here. In fact, we call on all the help you know we can do it according to what we are capable of dealing with at any given moment. So this is Mother Eve as well. We had an equation where we see Eve as the number 14. When we add 1 and 4 together, we get 5. And we also have a long list of 5 that comes into the middle section, which also, before I go on, also goes in direct correlation with how God had referred to himself on the mountain of Sinai with Moses. And when Moses asked, who should I say has given us these commandments of spoken? And he said, it is said, I am that I am. So this is the I am that I am comes also in direct numerical value. With 14, it scales down and goes to 14 and then to 5. So this is where I get very, very excited, because I believe, according to Emmett Fox, nothing comes into our consciousness unless it finds something like itself on which to attach itself to. So that would really denote that there is a direct correlation with God on the Mount Sinai, who said, I am that I am, and Eve and Christ. So all Eve and Christ and God, well, God, this is where we hear it's God, but we know the word God in numerical value equals 8. We know 8 is really a formation, but it's that 0. Everything goes back onto God in that 0. It's number 8. With the number 8, we could also say we have noticed that it also equals the I, meaning the word I and the word et. So we see even from God that we understand God to be there is a food, an element of food that we had not even looked into before, but it's getting just revealing to me even now. If eight, the word eight equals eight, and we know that God worked with numbers, and we are talking about eight as a function, or to eat something equals eight. It's as a function, which is the activity that Eve had participated in, and that also equals God. What is that saying? When we do the numerical value of God, God, it equals 8. It equals 8. And also the participation or activity of eating, to eat something, present or past tense, is 8. So what does that tell us? So I'm thinking, there is something more to this story, which of course has unfolded in this numerical value here. It has unfolded here perfectly again with the I am that I am. We are seeing that Eve is revealed in that story of I am that I am. The numerical values are directly with that name of God. And being in that 5 position as Christ, as on the template where the third eye is open here, in that column is also in direct correspondence with, we have Christ and Eve in that direct correspondence, but we could also see this is where the eye gets open. This is the third eye gets open in that position. So I want to further explore this, and we see the I am, that here also equals number 13, which corresponds with Revelation, corresponds with Father, which is mirrored Father as 31, and it also mirrors, I believe, Father, let's see, Mother is 7, okay, and Father is 4, so that would be 11. Okay, and that would be 2, if we were to add 11, 1 and 1 together. And as I said, God has always been doing 2. So all that 2 could also be a reflection that there are 2 parents or 2 of 2, you know. But however, there is one thing I really want to explore as well, and this is just to show as well. We see Eve, which is 454 here, and that too would also reflect the I am that I am here. I am, or even I am, it's directly in that direct. I am is now 9 and 5, but it also adds up to 14, and 1 and 4 is 5. So we see a lot of correlations here in this. Okay, so I want to explore a text that has been really on my mind, but it's because of the word, the letter M and W, because we have been, of course, we see even in what we are talking about, I am, that M word that is really, and there are 2 M words in I am, that I am. So we see there are 2 M words here as well. So there's the text about Christ making reference to his that to himself as a worm. I am a worm, no man, and I have been despised and by everyone. So there it's in Psalm chapter 22 verse 6 thereabout. So, and I thought that was very symbolic in the Psalms. I think Psalms is also equal in 7, which is also saying that there's an approach or direct approach of the totality of human, 7, 6 days of creation and the 7th day of rest. Okay, and also there is the 22, which is showing a direct correlation with that mastership program, or I call it mastership program of Christ. Because remember, when we look at Luke of chapter 22, we see Christ refers to himself as a master. Now, there he refers to himself as a master, and there we have number 6. Now we have done the numerical, I have done the numerical value for worm, which equals 6, because this is 4, 9, and 4 and 9 is 13, and 6 is 19, and 5 is 24. So that equals 6, it's 24. 2 and we have I am is 5. We'll just do this, and there's 1 here. So just so we see 5 and 1, 7 and 5, 12. All right, but the point I'm really wanting to make here is that I am looking at this and it's saying I am a worm and no man. But here we have the numerical value for no, and I've also done the numerical value for yes. Basically, yes is 13. This is again, I am very happy to be doing this because this falls in direct correspondence with the letter B, BKT on our sacrifice template. This is on the number 2. This is the 13 that where I talk about agreements are formed. This is when it is closed. It is either closed or it is either open. It forms a B. It is a B, but it is a whole. It's a wholeness. It represents wholeness. It represents bond, where agreements are done. This is where vows are made in that B section. So, of course, part of that B, if we do this, we could see it is free. It is also 13. This is where the 13 disciples and the 12 disciples and Christ was. So, there we are looking at Christ's word when he says, we are going to look at this later, but when he says, I am a worm. Now, I have been using the word, the term as W representing a worm, as this is W, this is M, and this is 3, and this is E. So we see this here, and Christ of, so it's like saying this W, which is of this shape like a free, has the ability to go in all 4 corners of the earth. It has the ability to go down to the ground, and it has the ability to rise again. And could it be that that was what Christ was saying when he says, I am a worm despised, because worms are despised. But also when one has gone down to the ground and risen up as well, there is also that is showing, and it said, scorned by everyone. Now, a worm, of course, is usually scorned by everyone. But it also means that when we experience being scorned at and all of those elements, it also denotes that those attributes or experiences tend to shape us, toughen us, give us more zest to move into the direction, or actually shape us into the direction we are meant to be going. Hence, we could say, even with Judas performing this act of betrayal, but it was all part of the bigger plan. So, scorned by everyone, and we see the word with everyone also constitute Eve. Could it be that, of course, there was also the comfort in that motherly representation of when we say everyone, or acknowledgement of being of every, when it says by everyone, meaning acknowledging that everyone constitute Eve. Okay, so that is one part of this that I am wanting to establish. But we also see when it says no man here, I am a worm, I am a worm, no man, no man. So I haven't got taken the rest of the text yet, but no man. There is two and there is one for man, and if we add two and one together, we get 12. Sorry, we get two and one, we get three. And we see here it's like an emphasis of getting this three is still as if showing the worm, the W again, the equation of what Christ is really saying. I am a worm, no man. It's like still showing. It's like when we really go down into ourselves, sometimes we can feel so insignificant, but we know it's in that insignificance that we also find the gem within us, because we have let go of ego, we have let go of pride and fear. And of course, a worm has no fear about where it roams. It's able to rise and it's able to go down. It's able to move into the north, into the south, and into the west. But also the text entails one W here, which is also depicting Christ's acknowledgement of W, the reflective aspect of oneself, and then there is the M here. So there is W, there is M, and we also have that M here in man. So there are three, we could say three M's, or W, M, and M here again. So there are these three aspects. And could it be that Christ was really taking into consideration? Could it be that he was taking into consideration the nature of W and the nature of because warm, it's like he's using two words there, and it's like a wool. It sounds like I am a woman. It's almost saying I am a woman. Now, if we were to perhaps let's just look at the word woman, and see what numerical value that would be and how that actually ties in with what we are saying. Okay. Okay, let's just do this here. Okay, woman, WOMAN. So we have 5, 6, 4, 1, 5. There we are. Okay, 5, 6, 4, 1, 5. So this is 5 and 1, 6, 6 and 4 is 10, 10 and 6 is 16, and 5 is 21. 21 for woman, 2 and 1 equals 3. So here we see woman equals 3 here. We have 3 W or M's in this text where Christ says, I am a worm, no man. So here we have these 3 W's or M's, or whatever it is we want to refer to them as, which one, the end here, the 2 ends here, and the beginning here, and we know that 3 threes are 9. 3 threes are 9, because we also have this 3 here, no man. It's like an emphasis is happening here. I am a worm, no man. No man would be what? It would be woman. I am a worm, no man. So if it's not a man, it's woman. And then, oh, don't crucify. It almost feels like there's going to be another crucifixion with this presentation. But anyway, I had asked for Christ's intervention in this. So there we are. Um, I am a worm, no man. When we do no man, we see number 3 here. Now let's see what we get here with I am a worm. So worm is 6, a is 1, and we have 5 for I am. And this would be 9, but I know when we add any figure we add to 9, we get that figure. So if we added 9 and 5, it would be 5. So that, but we can do this just to be very transparent. So let's add these up and see what we get here, because I am a worm and then no man. Okay, so this is 14, 9 and 5 is 14, and 1 15, and 15 and 6 is 21. 15 and 6 is 21. That's correct. So 21, which is exactly what we have here, 21. So this is 21 here. Now that's interesting. That is really, really interesting. So this is 21. We need some contrast for this. I'll put 21 here. And this equals, let's get rid of this. This is another part of this session that I want to cover here. But, okay, let's keep this in a comprehensive way. I start at the bottom and I'm working my way up. And I think that's how we ought to be working. You plant the seed and then you come up with it. This is what it's about. Let's be worms. The worms go into the ground and then they take their rise, you know. Okay, so there we are. Okay, so we are seeing here Christ is saying, in fact, I'm going to rub this off and we'll put it up later, because I really just wanted to remember what it is that I want to do. This is a separate thing with Abraham. Okay, so here Christ is saying, I am a worm, no man. And of course he goes, I have been despised, or I'm despised. And we could do this in another session, the rest of it. But what is marvelous here, we see that comes to 3. Now that's what I have been talking about, the 3, and this is the beautiful thing about doing these presentations, because I had not seen number 3 being presented as a worm, far less in the scriptures, far less in Christ's words. You know, I had not seen that at all. Before then, put it this way, but it's the 3, and that's what happens sometimes when I'm doing these presentations. It's like I'm seeing pictures. So it's like with the 3, I was seeing like waves and lots of 3s just moving, you know, like worms, and I said that in the presentations. So there we are, and it's like, this is where we common sense, the numbers, and are there. It's like someone says something about, well, the beginning. Then if there was a beginning, there had to be an end. You know, it's like, do we not think about that? Do we just think? Because those are words that are there to help the construct of what is, to help us make the decisions into the right direction. Now, we see the 3 here has been what I have been talking about. So here we see 12. 1 and 2 is 12. 1 and 2, is 3. And then that 3 gives us, that 2 gives us 3. So in actual fact, we have, this is really amazing. We've got a 3 here. We've got 3 here. And we also got 3 by doing the numerical value for woman, which is directly 21, and no man is reflecting on the mirror aspect of the mirror of no man, 12, of course, and then we have 21 again. So in actual fact, we have derived at the figures of 21, 12, and 21. And if we add these together, we know it's 9. 1 and 2, 1 and 2 is 3, 2 and 1 is 3, 2, 1 and 2 is 3, so 3 is a 9. And here Christ is saying, I am 9. Because he knows that and it is said that he said this on the cross. I believe in what I read, that it was also one of the places that it was said on the cross, I am a worm. And there we are trying to understand what Christ might have meant by saying, I am a worm. But if I am a worm, then if I am a worm, no man, then what are you? A woman? A woman. Because with that being a woman, you are able to produce after your kind. That's what it is. You are able to give birth to others. And just to show you, in fact, we'll have to do this in another. We'll have to come to this again in another presentation, because there's another aspect of this that I really want to cover with Abraham and Christ talking about um, where they said to him, "You have not even turned 50, and yet you are claiming to have seen Abraham." So, and he's saying, "And before I was born, I am." Or before Abraham was born, rather, I am, so I am is 5. And this is what we are seeing, that 5 is positioned at that place of the eye being opened, and of course that is representing God as well. So there we are. I'm talking about God as the third, as the eye that is open, or when we have the kundalini, this is where we meet with God. And there we had the same thing with Eve. Eve was at the same place with God. Could it be, that Eve was sitting at the right hand of God? Okay, all right. So I am hoping that you have found this beneficial. But the three, just to really recap on this very quickly. So Christ was saying, I am a worm, no man. And I think I have got the direct words here in sequence. And we have done this numerical value, I am a worm, and that gives us a numerical value of 21. When we take it down, scale it down to the digits, and 2 and 1 is 3. Then we also have no man, that comes to 12, which is the mirror image of 21, and that also gives us 3, which are worms. So we see how the worms are happening. And this is, of course, and finding that other woman, this is what we are saying, that it goes into. So Christ had 3 W's. We say W's, 2 W including, or 1 W including 2 M's. But there was the one that he did not mention, because we are looking at, this is what we started with, that each point you turn, there is a W. Each point you turn, there is 2 of you, if you like. So every time we are interacting, wherever we are going, we are meeting with another of ourselves. So there is someone we can relate to, an aspect of ourselves we can relate to. So he is saying, I am this. No matter where I turn around, I am this. I am 3. Now 3 is freedom. Oh my. Mm, 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 mm. Wow, I love it. I absolutely love it. Let's put it on here. free is freedom. And that's what Christ was trying to say. Well, no matter what you do to me, I am freedom. Not just free, because free is 7. I am freedom. I am the dome. This is the dome. Because the Christ, so 7 and 5 is 12. 7 for free, and 5 is 12. And we see the 12 is here, reflecting right here. And it's the reverse right there. So actually, woman, we are free. Yes. Okay. And this is really delicious. This is delicious. So there we are. Freedom is free. So I was making the point that there were 3 M's, 2 M's and a W in that term here. I am a worm. We have 1, 2, 3. But one is missing. One was missing because Christ had not disclosed the other one. He is expecting us to work it out and to say, well, the other one is, if you are a worm, no man, what are you? Worm. Even this is what I mean with the frequency of sound as well, because here the Bible says, I have given you the spirit of sound mind. You know, there is sound. It's not just saying a solid mind. There is sound as well. The frequency to listen. Ye who have ears, let him hear. And you know, the word air is in the middle of heart and it's in the earth. You know, and these are things that, of course, we are exploring here. So, we're exploring in our air. So there we are, and Christ is saying, well, yeah, woman, I am a now the difference of this warm man is here is that there's the R. There's the R here. And that is the R that is really more or less centered between these two words here, if you like, to remind us, because this is more or less saying, this is the 9. We have checked that 3 9s, that's 3 3s a 9. That he is also telling us, I am 9. We get that there in that calculation. We get that 3 9s. This is represented there. It's like saying the inland, you know, is ready or knows is going to pay his dues in the inland revenue, where there is the IR on the sacrifice template, which I'm going to show you. So here we have, this is really beautiful, and I hope we can revisit that again. So this is the north. Let's do this here, so we can get a comprehensive picture of all of this. I need to, okay. And so this is the north. This is the south. This is the east. East is already, and this is the west. Okay, so this is east and this is west. Okay. And this is north, this is south, this is east, this is west. There we go. And it's woman. I'm going to write this in a way that when I make reference to it, so I can understand what I have written. WOMAN. And it's 5 6 4 1 5. So 5 and 5, 10 and 6, 16 and 5 is 21. 21 equals 3. This is the worm. This is the worm. So, and of course, no man. So there was another thing that I was trying to make sense of, the numerical value of no. Because no, of course, we say no, and it's like a differentiation, or to we say yes, we have yes and no, and you would think that yes and no is actually so far apart. No, well, no is actually um, the two, it's actually showing there's a relation between a very close relation between yes and no. So we have two here, and yes, I'm going to do this numerical value on here, which is 7 for y, 7, 5, and 1. So this is 12 and this is 13. Now this is something we need to pay close attention to. So yes is 13. Let's take this here, 13. 3 and 1 would be 4. 3 and 1 would be 4. Then for no, we have 11, master number. 1 and 1 is 2. 1 and 1 equals 2. 2 and 4 is 6. This would be what we are, yes and no. Hence the scripture said, let your yes be yes and let your no be no. But really, it's like saying there was the yes, and the yes was saw in half. So it's like when you say no, it's not absolute, because you can go back to making that no a yes. And this is what happens here. Now I also want to make reference to that 2 here, this 2 here, and this 13 here. This is what we want to really be paying attention to. It's like they have swapped positions. You can see that they are still in very close sync. It's like 2, 4, 2, 4. And let's look at our template. What transpires on that template? On the template, this is where yes and no happens. Yes and no would be happening between people in the same proximity. And that is what is happening right here in that same proximity, where we have the BKT. Let's stick BKT. This is 2, 2, and the BKT section. This is the section that is the 13, and it's also the section where that is 2. So you can see what happens in that section, where people say, well, no, but the conversation continues till one says, and they meet each other halfway between that 2 and that 4. That's why there is so much happening in that 2 section, where people can come together and have this agreement. This is what happens. I hope you have found this beneficial. I hope you have found it fun as well, because we should always be rejoicing and celebrating whenever we have new information, because every moment, in fact, every breath we take is new. So we should be in constant celebration of our newness. And I love the idea of that newness in number 5, so Christ is referring to himself here as a worm, but the worm, he is also saying, I am a woman. So basically, I have done presentation that where I say that there have been 2 Eves because Christ had become the second Adam. Now in this presentation, it's unless he's really like making a statement into acknowledging that he's also Eve, because it's like saying that you can refer to yourself as your the surname of your father. I am Mr. Blair. I am Blair, we do that. So could it be saying, or acknowledging Eve in him, or that woman, that feminine, because of course Eve we see as woman, and of course the woman gives birth. She births life and brings life into into the world. And Christ, of course, had said, I have come that you may have life and have it more abundantly. And we see with woman, there is a three. The word abundantly is two threes. So it would be interesting to see, of course, this is all adding up very well, because the word bread also is 21, which we have done. I know this is a long, it is a long presentation, but it's best we are in sync with this. So the word bread also comes to 21, the word blood comes to 21, and all of these things, it's as if Christ was giving the signature or the symbol in each of these activities, to saying this is who I am, or this is what I am, and I am, we know, is five, but of course, five is its head is turning that way. It's that other function, it's like looking into that certain direction. But we see with the three, we see with again with the breast. We talk about breast, we talk about woman, we talk about buttocks, we talk about wisdom tooth. And this is what I was hoping to do. Let's do this. So this W could be a tooth. This M could be, what did I have? Is wisdom tooth. We have B for bond, free for freedom. Let's do freedom. Freedom. Okay. But okay, let's stick to the so we have bread. Of course, all these people are forming business in this the second column for bread, for life, and so it's all life. It's all these are fives. We could call these all these fives, or W. The W is equals 5, which puts you into that which puts one into the central column of the sacrifice template. Okay, so we have the W, we have W, the wisdom tooth, we had that here, and wisdom actually is 2, so that equals, okay, bread, we have blood, it's blood, because wine is also blood, so the W here could signify the wine instead. But when we do the blood, which Christ has said, when you have this, do it in remembrance of me, just as the B, whether it was B, whether it was W, it still falls under that second column where we form the B like this, which comes to the beehive. All right, I'm going to wrap this up because I believe we will come back to this. I also want to do another presentation, a separate presentation on Abraham and Christ. But let's leave this one here for now, because this is really a lot to take in. But isn't it delicious? I just love it. I just love it. So in actual fact, in that talk that Christ is saying, and I have been despised by everyone, but that despise, okay, however we want to take it into consideration, but he's also acknowledging Eve because one equals 7. That's the other thing. So 7, oh my, this is beautiful. Just bear with me. Because Eve is actually 5. 1 is actually 7. And so the R is 9, and Y is 7, so that would be 7, meaning 7 and 9 would be 16. That would be 16, yes. 7 and 9, 16. So that would be 7. So we are looking at 577. So 7 and 7, 14, which is always coming up with Eve. And then 5 would be 14, and 5 would be 19. 1 and 9, that's correct. 14, 14 and yes, so that would be 10 actually, because 7 and 7, 14, 1 and 4 is 5, 5 and 5 is 10, 10 and 1 and 0 is 1. Right. So every one actually really means number one. And if we were to write no, the word number one, O-N-E, when we do this, actually equals 7. We will see this. So this is 5, 5, and 6. 5 and 5, 6. And it's the time of that. 5 and 5, 10, because I'm looking at 6. 5 and 5, 10, and 6 is 16. So 1 and 6 is 7. So 1 and 6 is 7. So 1 in actual fact is 7. So when he says, and I am despised by everyone, he probably had gone to a place of feeling, we could say it was a sense of self-pity, and why not? This is understandable. But the one is looking at and is acknowledging the totality of where he starts. But I am, there was this thing, I am a worm, the conjunction was, I've kept the conjunction separate, but I am a worm. I am a worm, So this is if we were to add the conjunction of but in the start of the sentence, that would mean 10 as well. So we would see that 10 would correlate to everyone. Anyway, I'm hoping you have found this fun. I'm hoping that you have found this enlightening. If you like this presentation, click the like button and share, because this is how we do it. We share to actualizing self-full love. Okay, in the meantime, stay blessed, be blissful, and be fulfilled. And of course, stay ignited. Namaste. And spill over with love.